retirement planning, and tax benefits of preparing for the future. Hey everyone, it's CPA Dan Hodges with myfavoritecpa.com. In today's video, let's dive deeper into a topic that most everyone is interested in, and that's saving for the future and for retirement. Whether you're just getting started in your career or whether you're well established, the things that you want to think about and the approaches that you want to start with are relatively similar. It all begins with thinking about how to plan for retirement effectively and tax efficiently. Retirement at times might sound like a distant goal, but the truth is, the earlier that you start planning, the better off you'll be. Step one in retirement planning is assessing and thinking about your current financial situation. It's always a great exercise to sit down and make a personal financial statement, a list of your assets, your liabilities, your income, and your expenses. If some of these terms seem a little bit foreign to you, well, check out my prior videos where I talk about basic financial terms and we educate you on those. I'll link it in the description. Next step, which is very important, is to establish a budget for yourself and compare it to your current income and expenses. What do you plan to spend each month? What do you plan to bring in each month? A budget is nothing more than a plan for what you have coming in and what you have going out. It can really help you on gaining clarity on where your money is coming from and going to. And you would be surprised how many people get a little confused on this. When you look at the actual numbers and compare them to what you were planning and see where you're over and under, they can definitely guide you toward retirement. Now, let's talk about something magical, and that is compounding interest. Albert Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. He said, "He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it." Bottom line here, the sooner that you start saving, the more that your assets have time to earn and grow. Some of the best books on this subject talk about starting even with the smallest of amounts can make a huge difference. It's all about time. The sooner that you start and the more disciplined that you are, the better off you will be as you get toward your goal. So it's never too late to start saving for retirement. Even if you are starting to near retirement age, there are plenty of things you can do to improve your financial situation. It's all about making informed decisions and acting today. Next, let's talk about many of the tax incentivized ways to save for retirement. Each of them has its own upsides and downsides. One thing that often comes to mind for employees nowadays is employer-sponsored plans. That would be things like a 401k or a simple IRA, maybe even an SEP, depending on the size of the company that you work for. I think it's rare, but some people are even fortunate enough to work for a company that has a true pension plan. Plans that have employer-matched contributions have definitely gained popularity in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and up till now. One of the reasons, again, is the effect of compounding interest and compounding investment. The tax benefits of being invested in a 401k is your earnings go in there pre-tax. So you are not paying tax on that money today. And you layer the matching on top of that, it's good for everybody. If you can't take advantage of an employer plan, think about something like an individual retirement account or an IRA. Again, that money that you put in there is not taxed today. Both 401ks and IRAs share the common ground of not being taxed today on that initial contribution. And then while the money is invested, it grows and the earnings each year are not taxed. Someday when you retire, and perhaps you're in a lower tax bracket someday in the future, when you pull that money out, then it would be taxed, theoretically at a lower tax rate. Now, another vehicle that we have in both many employer plans and in IRAs would be a Roth contribution. So we have Roth 401ks and Roth IRAs. With Roth contributions, that money is taxed today. And you are promised that that money will grow just like in a 401k or a conventional traditional IRA, without any taxation while it's growing. Now, what's different between a Roth contribution and a conventional traditional contribution is on the back end. The Roth IRA, we are promised in retirement, when you pull money out, it will not be taxed. Can you imagine having a tax-free retirement? How great would that be? Now remember, on that note, it's important to diversify your investments and not put all your eggs in one basket. We saw this over the years with companies like Enron, where the company imploded and so many employees had invested their own retirement in the company stock. They not only lost their job, but they lost their full retirement. So consider a mix of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and other assets depending on your risk tolerance as well as your investment time horizon. And on that note, I do think it's important to have a financial advisor. Not necessarily someone that just sells insurance, but someone maybe like a CFP that for a fee can lay down a plan and then meet with you periodically to assess how are you doing compared to your plan and make little tweaks. On that note, I'd like to mention something that financial advisors often talk about, and that is planning for retirement isn't just about the money. It's about envisioning what is the life that you want to live in retirement. Take time to think about your goals, your hobbies, and your aspirations. What do you think your retirement would look like? Would you travel the world? Would you spend time with family? Maybe you would pursue new interests. The options are really endless if you think about it. Thank you for joining me today. I definitely like talking about planning for retirement. And not only that, all the benefits and the tax incentives and all the things that surround retirement and the many choices and options that you have. Always remember the key to building a good financial future. That is starting early, saving consistently, and diversification. These things will help you along with making informed decisions along the way. If you have any comments or questions on retirement and tax incentives that surround it, go ahead and drop them down below. I would love to interact with you, my fans, users, and listeners.